Hey friends, it's Justin and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a birthday card to share with you using some brand new exclusive products from scrapbook.com. I do have all of the products I'm using in today's video linked below, and any affiliate links that you use help support me and my crafting at no additional cost to you. Now, I figured we'd go ahead and start this card the way that I start most of my projects, and that's by selecting the paper patterns that I will be using. So we're going to focus mostly on the solid papers that are included in the set. We're going to use the hot pink, the light pink with white dots. We're going to use the periwinkle color. We're also going to use the orange, kind of a goldenrod color. We will also pull out the green with white dots, and then finally we're going to pull out the purple paper. So we have a collection of 6 different colors that we're going to be using that are really going to make this card pop. I'm going to pull in the mini present shape die, and I'm just going to show you how I get everything staged for one of the colors of paper. I'm going to focus on the 4 solid colors of paper for the present die cuts, and I'm going to put the present, the circle for the bow, and the bow part itself, and tack it down with some mint tape. I'm also pulling in some white mixed media paper, and I'm going to use this to die cut the shadow for the present as well. So I'll use some mint tape to go ahead and tack down that outline of the present and trim it down so that I can save on some real estate on my cutting plate. I will cut out each of the 4 different colors, so you'll see I have the orange, the hot pink, the periwinkle, and the purple die cuts all ready to go with their white outline pieces. I'm going to begin the process of adhering all of my elements together and putting 4 of these presents ready to go for my card. So I'm going to make sure that I don't double up on any of the colors. So we've got an orange present with a purple bow. We're also going to make sure to adhere it to one of the white outline pieces. I really like that scrapbook.com includes those white outline pieces because I think it really helps make these die cuts pop once you get them onto a project. Next, we're going to do a purple present with a hot pink bow, so we'll adhere that into place. I'm also going to place it, like I said, all of them are going to go onto those white outline pieces and getting that one situated. For the 4th present, we are going to do a hot pink present with a periwinkle bow, and then we will also get it all situated with that white outline piece. And it's really important to remember to not forget to put that little dot where the bow goes because it just adds a nice little sort of knot for the card. Now, to sound repetitive, the very last present we'll be doing is a periwinkle present with an orange bow, putting it on that white outline piece so that we will finally be finished with the 4 different die cuts that we're putting together for this card. I do get everything nice and organized once it's adhered in a stack and sort tray, so you will go ahead and see that I've got all 4 of my presents ready for some card making. Next, I'm going to pull in that green and white polka dot paper along with the Beyond Basics A2 card dies by Picket Fence Studios. I'm going to use the 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 rectangle die to die cut out a perfect panel for our background of our card. So I'm going to tack it down once again using some mint tape. I'm putting it in 2 different areas just to make sure it doesn't shift while die cutting. Afterwards, I will get processed through my die cutting machine, and then I'm going to work on a little bit more die cutting using the rainbow striped pattern from the Bouquet pattern paper collection. I am going to pull in the Let's Celebrate word dies, and we're going to use the sentiment that says Let's Celebrate. We're going to die cut out all of the letters, the words, and then also the outline piece as well. I use my outline piece and I'm going to place it strategically onto that striped background because my background or the card is going to be predominantly that lime green color. I'm trying the best to avoid the lime green portions of the paper because I don't want it to blend in too much with the background. So I've gone ahead and positioned it accordingly, and then I'm also using a scrap piece of the mixed media paper in white, and we'll die cut out the letters for Let's and then the word Celebrate. Once again, to save on the real estate on my cutting plates, I am going to trim out all of my die cuts so that they don't occupy too much space as I begin processing it through my die cutting machine. Once finished, I am going to take my outline piece and begin adhering my sentiments on top. I'm going to start by adhering the word celebrate in the cursive font. Being transparent, I'm not going to show you how I adhere each of the letters. I think you'll get the gist. So we're just going to start with the celebrate, get that into place, begin spelling out let's, and then we will finish up with this die cut. One little thing that I do want to remind you of is that using let's, there is an apostrophe between the T and the S. Make sure to keep a special watch on that. It's definitely one of those die cuts that easily goes missing during your crafting process. So if you need to put it somewhere special or stick it to a special piece of tape so you can make sure it doesn't accidentally end up in your trash, I definitely recommend it so you don't end up die cutting multiple apostrophes for your project. With all of my die cuts layered and in place appropriately, my sentiment is ready to go for my panel. I'm moving on to cutting out a square myself, doing it manually with a guillotine trimmer, and it's going to be a 3-inch square. I didn't have dies readily available for me, and I figured I could just go ahead and cut it out this way. I figured I would be as careful as possible to keep it nice and exact. Next, I'm going to cut out a slightly larger purple square. This is going to be about a 3 1/8 of an inch square. And this is going to act as a really nice backing piece for the pink and white polka dot panel that we just used earlier. We're going to layer them nicely so there'll be a nice purple frame behind that pink pattern paper. Now I will adhere both of those layers together off camera and begin the process of adhering my presents directly to this square unit that we just prepared. This is going to help me make sure that all of my presents are nice and equally spaced. I had thought before of some different ways that I could ensure that they're nice and even. I had thought about lightly tracing some lines using a ruler with pencil onto my panel, and I also thought about maybe using some foam tape directly onto the paper with putting a little bit of liquid adhesive on back. I determined that this was going to be the best way for me to get everything to line up the way that I needed it to, and then I could just use liquid adhesive directly onto my slightly smaller than A2 card front. I'm also going to use some liquid snowflake white paper splatter watercolor by Picket Fence Studio, watering it down just a tad, and I will be splattering this directly onto the panel. I really like using the liquid paper splatter watercolor to add a little bit of extra shimmer to my projects. I think it's just that nice special touch that your recipient is really going to appreciate when they open up that envelope. Just make sure to give it ample time to dry accordingly so you don't accidentally smear it on your project. With my panel almost complete, it's now ready to start adhering my sentiment to the panel. I decided to use some 3mm foam strips on the back of my sentiment because I wanted it to pop off of my card. Y'all know if you're on my channel, I use a lot of foam tape. I really believe it helps make that card super special to send to somebody. It really brings a forefront to the images that you want to take front and center of the card. For this, the sentiment is definitely part of that portion of the card that I want to have appropriate attention. So I'm trimming off my foam strips and then I'm going to place it nicely on the bottom center of my card, right between or on the bottom of those presents. After I get my presents and my panel all put in place, I'm going to adhere this panel to an A2 size card base. Because that panel was trimmed slightly smaller, I'm going to have a nice white frame around that green dot paper. After everything is nicely adhered with my card base and my main card panel, I'm going to finish my card off by using a couple musical enamel dots by Pink & Main. I often plug Pink & Main when it comes to embellishments. I think they have a fantastic collection of different enamel dots and various embellishments to use for your cards, and I luckily had this in my stash to pull in for this card. I decide to use the orange, light blue, and purple because those colors are already used on this card, so my enamel dots are going to coordinate really nice and perfectly with the colors that we already selected from the bouquet pattern paper collection. And there you have it. We have a sweet little birthday card to pop in the mail to a friend to wish them well on their special day. Thank you so very much for stopping by my channel today for some birthday inspiration. If you haven't already, do not forget to like and subscribe and follow me for future crafting inspiration. Can't wait to catch you all in the next video, and happy crafting. Goodbye.